During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about chopping corn heads.
Well, we get a lot of questions about how do you handle the residue on your farm? You're raising pretty good corn yields and even going continuous corn sometimes. And that's just going to be a challenge for me. I can't deal with all that residue. So we thought we'd talk about today, one of the first things that we do at harvest time is use a chopping corn head to size up that residue into smaller chunks.
Now, if you're a non-farmer, you might say, what, doesn't every combine when it's going through the field kind of chop up that residue? Well, there are different degrees of how much it chops it up. And the whole thing is there are a lot of combines without this chopping corn head that are going to leave residue standing pretty tall in corn. Now, is a chopping corn head important for soybeans or for wheat? No, it's not this real big deal. But for corn, it really is, because you've got enormous stalks, and if you don't do something with those, then a lot of that residue can be left in the spring. And a lot of the reason why is, well, like where we farm, we're harvesting right before freeze up in the fall.
Or after freeze up.
Yep, and then we are going to try to plant right as the ground is thawing in the spring. So there's no heat in the middle to break that residue down naturally. That's why we have to mechanically break the residue down.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of things. I want to first talk about how does this residue actually break down. When you think about a corn stalk, it is a lot of carbon and not much nitrogen. And for all the soil microbes that are going to decompose that residue, they need some more nitrogen into the equation. And when you think about the microbes, where are they? Well, they're in the dirt, right? They're in the soil. So if we can get more soil in contact with more corn stalk, we've got a better shot to break that residue down quickly. And that's what we're doing. By chopping it up into small little pieces, now I've exposed a lot of surface area on that corn stalk, and we can get some soil microorganisms working on the stalks to break them down. So that's one of the big things. The other thing that you have to think about is, let's just say you didn't. Let's say you left great big long chunks of stalk out there. Not only is it harder for those microbes to break them down, it's going to be hard for us to pull a planter through there and get these big chunks of material to move
Exactly.
through.
So about 25 years ago, we started doing some no-till on our farm, and we were told by many no-tillers at the time, oh, leave your stalks stand tall, and that's great, and you can plant then good in the spring. That doesn't work at all. So what we found is those stalks tip over, like Darren's talking about. They haven't broken down because we've had no heat between harvest and planting time. And then we're trying to go over those stalks and cut them in the spring with a planter. Doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. Once we switched to a chopping corn head, we found no-till worked a lot better, strip till worked a lot better, and even conventional till, we break the residue down faster even with tillage. So we are real big believers in chopping corn heads on our farm.
One last thing that you may be thinking, well, okay, say I don't have one of those, what do I do then? Can I just come back and chop the stalks later? You sure can. You sure can bring a stalk chopper and make another pass through the field. The problem is that takes a little time, it takes another piece of equipment, and then here's the other thing. You've already run over a lot of those stalks and matted them down. So now you can't do a perfect job like you can if you can chop them right with the corn head.
Well, we believe chopping corn heads are important for our farm, but another thing that's really important for any farm is having great weed control. We'll talk about how to stop this tough weed coming up later in the show.